Star Trek will never have a cast as big as Deep Space Nine again. When Star Trek Deep Space Nine premiered in 1993, it didn't just boldly go where no Star Trek series had gone before. It completely redefined what a Trek ensemble could look like. Instead of centering on a starship crew, DS9 gave fans a sprawling space station filled with diplomats, freedom fighters, spiritual leaders, Ferengi schemers, and Starfleet officers all trying to coexist on the edge of Federation space. By the time the show ended in 1999, Deep Space Nine had one of the largest, most richly developed casts in all of science fiction television. And it's unlikely we'll ever see a Star Trek series with a cast that big again. The unprecedented scope of DS9's ensemble, unlike the original series and the Next Generation, which focused almost exclusively on their 7-member bridge crews, Deep Space Nine went wide. Yes, there was the Starfleet contingent: Captain Benjamin Sisko, Major Kira, Odo, Dax, Bashir, O'Brien, Quark, and eventually Worf. But surrounding them was a rotating constellation of recurring characters who were so fleshed out, they felt like leads in their own right. Garrick, the enigmatic tailor spy. Dukat, the villain with twisted charisma. Kai Wynn, a religious leader who could rival any Starfleet admiral in political scheming. Nog, who went from comic relief to tragic hero. Wei-Un, the chillingly polite Borta. Martok, the grizzled Klingon general. Even secondary Ferengi characters like Rom and Lita had arcs more nuanced than many main characters in other Trek shows. This wasn't just a large cast, it was a living, breathing community. That depth allowed DS9 to tell stories about politics, religion, war, and identity in a way that no other Trek series has been able to replicate since. Why modern Star Trek couldn't pull it off? Streaming era Star Trek has changed the formula. Newer shows like Discovery, Picard, Strange New Worlds, and Prodigy lean heavily into serialized storytelling with streamlined casts. Their characters get plenty of focus, but the days of sprawling B-plots involving secondary and tertiary players are long gone. There are practical reasons for this. 1. Budgetary constraints. Television today is more expensive than ever. Streaming series often pour money into cinematic visuals, elaborate sets, and high-end effects, leaving less room for a giant cast with regular speaking roles. DS9's strength was in its character drama. It didn't need blockbuster visuals every week, which allowed writers to spread resources across many characters. 2. Shorter seasons. DS9 ran for 26 episodes per season. That much airtime gave writers the opportunity to spotlight minor characters and experiment with bottle episodes. Modern Trek shows often have 10 episodes per season, which means every minute is precious. Secondary players rarely get the space to grow. 3. Storytelling trends. Today's audiences expect tight, serialized arcs where every scene pushes the main plot forward. That makes it harder to justify episodes centered on side characters like Nog's journey in It's Only a Paper Moon or Garrick's morally ambiguous choices. In the 1990s, networks encouraged episodic variety. In the 2020s, serialized cohesion is king. The impact of DS9's expansive cast. The size of DS9's cast wasn't just a quirk, it was the foundation of its storytelling power. With so many characters representing different cultures and viewpoints, the series could explore themes in ways no single crew show could. The Dominion War arc worked because audiences weren't just watching the Federation fight an enemy. They were watching Kira wrestle with her past as a resistance fighter. Nog struggled to prove himself. Garrick betrayed and redeemed himself, and Odo questioned his loyalties. Each character added another lens through which to view the war. Even the villains benefited from this expanded approach. Dukat, Wei-Un, and Damar weren't just faceless enemies. They had complex motivations and shifting allegiances. By giving its antagonists the same narrative care as its heroes, DS9 elevated Star Trek storytelling into morally gray territory that still feels groundbreaking today. Why nostalgia keeps DS9's legacy alive? While newer Trek shows shine in their own ways, none have attempted to replicate DS9's massive ensemble. That's partly why the series has grown more beloved with time. For fans who crave deep character arcs, recurring relationships, and a sense of community larger than a single crew, DS9 remains unmatched. Ironically, streaming might actually keep DS9's legacy alive. Viewers can binge all 7 seasons in one stretch, allowing them to see how interconnected the character journeys are. The slow burn development of Nog, the tragic descent of Dukat, or the eventual peace between Kira and Cardassians like Damar feel even richer when watched continuously. The future of Trek and smaller ensembles. That's not to say modern Trek is worse, just different. Strange New Worlds thrives with its tighter cast because it leans into